Is Willie out of debt?
No, Willie Willie ain't out of debt. Willie just hit a scratch off. Get his scratcher.
Well, she's gonna tell him the first thing to do is get that debt taken care of.
And then spend a few $100s on books and take some courses. No, I'm serious. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Self-education is the big thing.
Okay.
Because, or to find a way to generate a skill that produces more money. Get your money. Well, I often say to women, get your money up, sis.
New York, D-Town, LA, NO, Florida, Mississippi, KC, MO. Show 'em what you stand for. Show 'em what you stand for. Show 'em what you stand for. Chi-Town, Tennessee, Carolinas, Alabama, Oakland, St. Louis, Detroit, Atlanta. Show 'em what you stand for. Show 'em what you stand for.
Welcome to the Kings Can Move On podcast. You have your co-host Frank Tank, aka Big Reno, in the house.
What's up, everybody? Your boy Lil J.K. Wood, back at you one more again with another episode of KCMO, the Kings Can Move On podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And let me say this off top. If you are listening to this podcast, please subscribe and like and follow. We need all the help we can get. Keep this thing going. What's up, Big Frank?
Nothing much, Wood. How you doing, brother?
Can't complain, my man. Can't complain. Just trying to get things, talking about money right, man. That's what I'm trying to do. Get
your money right. Get it tight and get it right.
My money right, dog. Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
What you know about crypto?
I know it's out here. I know it's something that they do. Do I have money in it? Absolutely not, because I couldn't tell you nothing. I think crypto and Bitcoin is the same thing, but that's hopefully that's what I guess will let us know.
But you're in for a treat, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Because we have a guest this evening that actually will talk to us about all that good stuff that we're not familiar with. We have Miss Daphne Jones, aka the Smart Money Chick. Hey, Daphne.
Hey, how you doing, Jason? Frank, how are you gentlemen doing today?
Good. Thank you for being on.
It's great to be here.
So like I said, you go by the Smart Money Chick, and I believe I looked at your Facebook page, it says you're a financial educator. Is that what we go by? Okay, that's good. Last week we talked to somebody in the mortgage industry. It's about mortgage and money. This week we're going to talk about, finances, crypto, and Bitcoin.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can get into all that. So I was doing some research and I found your LinkedIn profile. And it looks like on your profile, you had a background in IT. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So how did you end up transitioning to being a Smart Money Chick?
Well, the that adventure started in 2008. A little bit earlier, about a year or two before. I had to stop working because I became very ill.
Okay.
And right in the middle of that illness, 2008 happened, and my husband lost his job. So if you want to see some black panic, let nobody in the house. Yeah, let nobody in the house have a job.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happens, you discover that's when you realize that paychecks they're mulligans, they're do-overs. Every 2 weeks, you get a fresh infusion of cash, and it covers any mistakes or any miscues that you made with money. But when that stops, you find out that you're swimming basically with it. As they say, you find out who's swimming naked when the water goes out. So,
Mm-hmm.
And it just started a research as to how do we hit the wall just that fast? Just, boom. So it started there. And as I was feeling better and ready to get back to work, I discovered it was a little bit tougher going back to work at a certain age. And I got into life insurance. And that even led to more talk about money in the sense, because when you're helping people with their life insurance, you really have to get into their finances. And because you have to design the policy A good life insurance agent designs the policy for the people that they're trying to insure, so that they understand why they have the policy, and that they'll keep the premiums up, keep the policy going. You don't want it to be a rash decision, or because they'll quickly let the policy go.
Well, Frank know about that because Frank used to be, well, I don't know if you still do it now or not, but Frank used to sell insurance.
Yeah, I've held my life insurance license. Now I have just a health insurance license. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you've been there.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Right.
You've been there. They get an understanding, and it's not some magical thing, although it has some great uses.
So with
that started
with working in life insurance and then doing that, so that just kind of spurred on the whole financial education goals that you had from that point?
Well, yes, because I wanted to get information out that I had, because I was learning stuff. And I know with me, when I learn something new, you get excited about it. And then one, you get excited, and then the other one, you get a little pissed off. You're like, wait a minute, wait. This would have helped a lot on the wedding day, or before we did this, or before we did that. And that is like common knowledge. It's in a book. It's not secret handshake. You need to be a millionaire, have gone to Harvard Business School stuff. It's just basic stuff. And so the smart money chick to get attention, and then we start the podcast, and then now the YouTube channel, just to get the information out there.
And I saw that you had a podcast, but are you just a licensed? Are you a licensed practical advisor, or are you just
no?
I'm somebody that said I know how to save my money, and I can let you know as well.
Yes. But I have some thoughts, and just to get it out there, because as they said, sometimes, and particularly in our community, you just want to hear a voice that's recognizable. And it's not just trying to sell you something, but it's recognizable. Okay.
So you on there like, hey, you know what? I'm telling y'all, here's what you need to do if you only got $2,500 a month, because I've been there.
Right. Okay. And this I can't afford, particularly because the big thing is life insurance. And it still is. I can't afford. No, you can't afford not to. Yeah. And we like to throw around terms like generational wealth and what you're leaving behind and so forth. And that's what life insurance does for you. It helps you protect people that you care about. And it's really important that you do that. And it can have other uses. It gets all fancy with the retirement savings and infinite banking and things of that nature. Sure, it can do all that. But for most working people, and I'll put it below that, say where your household income is right at 100,000 or less. Most of that stuff really doesn't apply to you, because you can't put away that amount of funding to make the life insurance do those sort of things. Once the income gets higher, you can. If you're a business person, or you have you have high earning potential, either you own a business, you may be an attorney, high-end tech, where you're making $250,000, $300,000. Then you can start doing some of those other tricks with life insurance. But primarily, when I'm talking to a cop who's married to a teacher, we need to talk about getting things in place that's going to protect the family in case one of you isn't here to help.
I mean, and that's the basis for life insurance, right?
Exactly.
Because you're depending on these incomes while you're alive. So if something happens to one, or you can't provide any further, you need something back there that's going to pay for those things. I think what's happening nowadays, especially on social media, you have a lot of people that are pitching the idea of life insurance can be used as a bank and so forth. Like you just said, you can't do that at a small.
You can't do that on $50,000.
No, exactly. But that ain't what they say on them YouTube ads. They come in at you, hey, you want to do this? You want to make something off your life insurance? Pay me for this course, and I'll show you how to do it.
Right.
And you're thinking, oh, I can do that. My life
Right.
insurance is only $100,000, but I can do that. No, you can't.
Right.
You need more than that.
Right. Or you'll come in with the a real big push. When I started in the industry was as a retirement savings plan. Okay, and you can't do that. That's a very expensive product, and you have to put, quite frankly, if you're not ready to put at this point about $1,000 a month into a policy like that, those returns that you're expecting to see when you're 65 or 70 years old, you're not going to get them. And the policy may collapse on you. They never talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
And again, when times get rough, because you're a working person and you tend to have one source of income, things get rough. And what's the first thing they turn loose? Life insurance.
That life insurance, that insurance.
Right. Mm-hmm. But you still have, 3 kids and a mortgage. And you probably slip in, you probably got a brother you slipping some money to, and that niece that's trying to go to school. So
got some fundraiser going on right now.
Right. Right. Because particularly when you're how can I put it? Because often still in our community, many of us are still the first ones to graduate school, completed college. Okay. So there are other duties outside the house. You got the house you're taking care of. But again, because, I'm married to the only boy. So with 4 sisters. I think that says it all right there.
That does say a lot, because they're going to go to big brother, little brother, whatever it is.
Yeah.
He's going to be the one to go, hey, X, Y, and Z happened. What we going to do?
Right.
Yeah. Even though he got his own house to take care of. Yeah. He can't abandon mama and sisters.
Right.
But I was thinking about what you said at first about it's in the books and it's common knowledge. But as we know, a lot of us don't really read and don't seek out that common knowledge.
Right.
And I think about that joke that I think it was Chris Rock. It was like, if you want to keep your money hidden, just put in the books.
Right. Right.
Because they don't go for the books.
Right.
Don't worry about that. It'll be good, the books, because nobody's going to go to books. So, yeah. So
but they'll watch a YouTube video or listen to a podcast. And that may lead to at least getting a book on tape. The books on tape now are called Audible. So that just to get a wider understanding about the money. So again, one of my, because I tailor my talks and stuff to Gen X women. And, one of the things I often put is, get your money up, sis. That, again, the majority of people here in the U.S. go to work for their money. They exchange dollars they exchange time for dollars. So then you need to get the best paying position you can. And that's why I often talk about tech also, because tech pays very well. And tech is not as age sensitive as other positions. You can have taught for 20 years and get a certification in Salesforce or Amazon Web Services and get a very well paying position to do some things.
Let me ask you a question. I'm sorry, this is a little off topic. I'm just curious over something. You said that you tailor your show around Gen X women. I hear that a lot. Some, that we cater something to a certain niche or whatnot. What made you choose Gen X women?
Because I'm Gen X. And we have a pretty interesting Gen Xers, period, male or female. And again, black or white. We're not that large of a cohort. We're not like the boomers, and we're not even as big as the millennials, who are the children of the boomers.
The millennials are the children of Gen X, right? Because we was out there having some baby shit.
The Z's are the children of Gen X.
Yeah, our children are Gen Zs, Frank. Yeah,
right.
If a millennial, my son would have been 30 this year.
Right. If you were among the older Gen Zs like me, and you started having kids like right after college, yeah, you'd have a 30-year-old.
Millennials.
So we cross a bit, but the bulk of are the Gen Zs. So, and we hit several major recessions during our earning years. We had 08, we had 94. We just missed the go-go 80s of Reagan. And we had that those long periods. We were the early part of us didn't have to pay that much to go to college, but toward the end, there's a lot of us that are still in a lot of student debt. We carried it the longest. We had a real rough time staying married. So, there were some societal things, and then, like I said, some economic issues we went through. In 08, we took it real hard, especially in the housing market. So
I think that's what caused Jason's divorce.
Hey, man. Hey, wait a minute, man. Listen, before we start throwing out personal business.
So it just, and then now we're caught between, we got aging parents.
Yes, we do.
And we got kids that they're not in a real rush to grow up. They
don't want to work. Let's put it that. Let's go ahead and say what it is.
So I mean, because you talk to many Gen Xers, we were out of the house 18, 19 years old. We either went to college, went in the military, or just got jobs and moved in with other folks and lived, 4 deep in a 2-bedroom. So because we was happy to get out the house. So.
couldn't wait.
We couldn't wait.
Couldn't wait to get out.
Yeah, as I said, we lived 4 deep
out the house. Like I'm
in a 2-bedroom.
Yeah, I'm gone. Roommates, whatever it took, I'm gone. But you're right. The young generation now they're not in that same rush. No urgency to actually go, like I said, and grow up.
So, nor do I think that we are ready for them to leave. You know what I'm saying? As parents, I think we coddle our children because we had it, as we call it, rough. And the baby boomers would be like, y'all ain't have it rough. We had it rough. So, but I think that we had it a certain way. It was very strict on us. So I know with my daughter, she get away with freaking murder sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So, it wouldn't surprise me if she stayed at home till she was 25, 30.
Right. And then I also understand you shouldn't try to push them out at 18. I left at 18, not to be pushed out at 18. So I do hold that, because if they're not ready, they're not ready. And the worst thing you can do is get them out there when they're not ready. I just I wasn't in the military. So in a sense, you're just going from one caretaker to another, because young enlisteds are watched over. You got food, housing.
So then, to piggyback on what Frank was saying, you said you targeted Gen X. So what about the Gen Zers then? Because like we were just talking about, the Gen Zers are they more prepared financially than we were, or do they also need help?
No, they need help also. It's just, that's what I tailor the message for. And it's for anyone. It's applicable. Have your dollars, make dollars. Your dollars need to have babies. You need to make enough money so that your dollars can make babies, because there's fixed cost, right? And you can't invest or save if you don't have any surplus.
This is true.
So that applies to everyone. So I just tailor to talk to them. And then oftentimes when I do give talks and speeches, I do end up with younger people around me. Well, what should I do about this? And, they're dealing with student loans and things of that nature.
Right.
But one thing that they do, particularly the millennials, they're very entrepreneurial. The ones I've run into, they're very quick to become entrepreneurial and take a chance. And they tend to tech is their friend, and they work in it. And they make a pretty good living. Not all of them, because you can't paint with a broad stick, but so that is the hope. That's what I see happening so far.
And and I see that your focus appears to be on Bitcoin. So I'm just curious, first off, what is the difference between Bitcoin, or is there a difference between Bitcoin, crypto, and that as world? And what is the hugest difference between crypto and your American greenbacks?
Traditional.
Okay. So let's take the first thing between Bitcoin and crypto. So technically, okay, Bitcoin is the original cryptocurrency. It was the first widespread one. And what makes Bitcoin different from the other coins is that no one is in control of it. No one person is in control of it.
No one is in control of Bitcoin.
Right.
Okay.
It was okay, you have someone, he called himself Satoshi. He wrote the white paper, I think it was in 2009. And no one actually knows who he is, who she is. We're not even sure. The code has not changed since then. And what keeps the code safe is that literally millions of people are running small nodes, running small Bitcoin nodes that are keeping the transaction, that keep the blockchain, right? So you can't just, one person or one group can't get together and insert code or try to change the blockchain. So, and you have transparency there. And you can't say that for the other cryptos that are out there. You can always lead it back to a person who started it. That's why you have the pump and dump problems, like the failing of the exchanges and things like that with the coins. They can run them up in value, get people to talk about the coins, get you to buy them, and then all of a sudden they're worthless.
Is that what happened with the FTX scandal?
Well, that was an exchange, which now it wasn't like a bank. It was an exchange. It was a place where you could go buy various types of crypto coins, to include Bitcoin. Yeah. And for a long time, you had a practice they call staking, where you would put actual cash out there and lend, and you would get interest and things like that. And so there were people that were making quite a bit of money in the early days of that, when they were trading coins. There was no oversight. And again, people were pulling, 7 and 8 figures out of the various cryptocurrencies that were out there. And eventually the buck stops, because you can't find the bigger fool to buy the coins you came up with. And so that's what happened with FTX. Also, the guy just embezzled money out of it too. That was the other thing. He just plain took money out of it and was actually taking money out and putting it into actual stocks and other businesses that failed. Oh, and so since there was, in a sense, because there was no oversight, there was no one was looking, and he was still making payments out of one end and taking the actual hard dollars and doing something with them on the other one. So that's what happened with FTX.
And see, I think that's what scares me about the whole crypto thing. Not knowing about it. Like I said, nobody is governing it, regulating it. So with Bitcoin, you said no one controls it.
Right. No one person. It's decentralized.
So is there an infinite amount, or is there a finite amount of Bitcoin?
No, there's a finite amount. There's going to be 21 million Bitcoin by the time they're finished mining them. And I think the last time I checked, we're at 19 million now.
When you finish mining them, what does that mean?
That's the algorithm that's being run on the various computers that mine Bitcoin.
So there's no CEO of Bitcoin, like there would be a CEO of Apple or something like that.
No.
I mean, there's no bank controlling it, right?
And ain't no customer service number. What if I lose? What if I got $100 in Bitcoin and
you lose your keys? Then you've lost your Bitcoin.
If you lose your customer service number, that's the first thing I'm gonna Google.
Right.
You lose that key, you're lost.
Yeah. You lose your private key, it's all on you. You got a problem. And there are folks that have lost access to millions of dollars in Bitcoin, because there's quite a bit of Bitcoin that can't be accounted for. And we know one guy in England, he actually was on his hard drive, and his wife gave the hard drive away.
Oh.
Yeah.
That would be cause for divorce right there, Frank. Right there. That'd be my
Right
cause.
on.
Right there.
And
So,
speaking of, I mean, crypto is currency, right?
yes, it can be, it can be have agreed upon value and be traded for stuff. Yeah.
So why would I take $100
And
in
fiat
American,
money, right?
yeah,
And buy
and
Bitcoin, buy
put it into
Satoshis.
crypto? Yeah. Because
Okay.
I don't
Because
see
we,
a lot of people, like a lot of stores that says, has a sign up say we accept Bitcoin or crypto or anything. I see it's very rare.
okay. The Lightning Network is helping improve that, where you can spend Bitcoin quicker and some and a few other of the cryptocurrencies. But as I said, I don't promote crypto. I do promote Bitcoin. I mean, I own Bitcoin myself and I buy it regularly, my dollar cost average. And I hope Bitcoin, because it's decentralized and what's going on with the fiat currency, big proponent of the dollar, but it's about to get worse before it gets better. The inflation, yeah.
Well,
And it's not just hooked up with that who's in office. We're on a long trajectory of inflation right now.
yeah. And even I was just watching and reading about the whole thing with, Russia and China combining efforts to get off of the dollar. And it seems like there's a effort globally to try to minimize the value of the dollar.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
They can try.
Shit, they could try.
Yeah. No, I'm really not too worried about it because of the large amounts of dollars that exist. Our dollar, for instance, if you notice, we don't try to control the exchange rate of the dollar. Now, we'll set some interest rates and things of that nature, do some fiscal policy. Monetary policy. But as you often hear about China with the yuan, of how they'll do things to devalue it to improve trade policy and things like that, and we don't do that. So everyone, even people that hate us, China, Russia, they still do business in the dollar. They've tried working out with each other before. In exchanging, Russia exchanged their dollars for yuan when they cracked down on them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then China turned around and told them they weren't going to buy the money back. I mean, you can't. The beauty of the dollar is that we still have here a rule of law and an open market, and other countries just nobody can match that. But the closest one maybe is Great Britain with the pound sterling, that where the government doesn't constantly have their fingers in the money, and it helps having the military that we have too.
Wait a sec. You just said the government don't have their fingers in the money.
Where they're
Here in America, they do.
right, okay. Are there monetary and fiscal
Right.
policies from the government? Yes, there are, because you got the central bank, and you have Congress themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
But where they're constantly tinkering and will just totally pull the rug out from under to either get out of debt or to pay off debt and things of that nature. That doesn't happen because we've got those two different things going on. We got a Congress that's under control with the Constitution, because we are a nation of laws. And then you've got this independent central bank that makes decisions, that doesn't have to check with Congress first. So those two things make the dollar a safer bet than any other currency, on the planet. And then when you throw in the fact that we do have the military might that we do have, that still makes us the best bet. So when you got countries like with the BRICS, that group, Brazil, and I think the Saudis have showed up and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you guys have at it.
That I've heard that though on other podcasts though that because our military is still the strongest, that we still have an advantage in that aspect as far as how the dollar will
right.
So,
and the other thing when I was discussing inflation with you guys is that we actually don't need anybody else. We can feed between Canada, the US, and Mexico. We can feed ourselves. We can power ourselves. Prices will go up, right? Because there'll be, shorter supply and higher demand. But we can actually do it. And we can do it not just by putting on controls and raiding the farms and stuff like that, but actually being able just to trade dollars among ourselves and things of that nature. So when push comes to shove, and then we can defend ourselves while we're doing it. So that goes back to the military. So and nobody else can do that. Can do both of them. Can defend themselves and is self-contained. There's enough energy, there's enough oil here to run it for the US, and then Mexico has oil too. So that's why I said, and we can grow enough food and things of that nature. Now prices will go up.
Yeah.
But
like
we could do
we can do it. It'll be
Right.
expensive as hell on the consumer.
Right.
Because we do depend on those other exports
Sure.
and imports right now, and that's why things are high right now.
Yeah.
We got sanctions on Russia and all that kind of stuff, and they're withholding
Right.
oil and all that kind of stuff. So,
and that's hurting Europe. And okay, for instance, China can't feed itself. It cannot feed itself.
they don't have enough agriculture and
Right.
in place.
They have some of the poorest performing land, and part of it is the land itself, and part of it is when you can't set your pricing. They've had famines before that were brought on simply because of how they were trying to redistribute land and things like that. So, but even if they were producing, they can't produce enough food. They can't feed themselves. They really need other countries to feed them.
Africa.
Right. They don't have the energy wherefore. They can't produce enough oil, and that's why they're burning state. They still burn coal. They're the reason you still have a lot of coal issues, because they're burning coal. So
okay.
Interesting.
Right. So I still feel pretty confident about being an American. We still got the best passport.
Yeah, still best passport.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I still got to figure out this whole Bitcoin thing. I think I'm too late to the game, though. I think I was
no. Okay. The crazy money of Bitcoin, where the folks who were actually there in 2009 and when Bitcoin's literally pennies of Bitcoin and sub $100. Okay, those days were gone. The Winklevoss twins that became millionaires just because you bought 150 Bitcoin when they were $30 each. Yeah, those days you miss those.
Yeah.
But I still own some Bitcoin because of what's going on with fiat currency. And I do see some craziness going on about monies and things, because it's not just going to be about money at some point, because I see some places having food problems, some food shortages coming on the horizon, and that and then in crazy energy costs. So
well, so that's Bitcoin and crypto. Do you at all dabble in NFTs in that space?
No, that is a hustle.
Well, explain.
And I'll say it out loud.
Last year, NFTs were huge. That's all you hear about the last 2 years, and then it seems like this year it just went. Just like the light.
It was a hustle. It was okay. You got some nerds that figured out how to do some things again on the blockchain, and they hyped it up. So what you always have behind it is kind of the memory of what happened with Bitcoin, right? Because those of us particularly that were in the IT space, we heard whispers about Bitcoin when it first came out, and it was like, well, maybe I ought to give it a try. And so the few folks that did give it a try, they spent a few $100. I know one guy personally, he paid his house off. He bought $100 worth of Bitcoin. And when it hit 60K, he paid his house off. He sold several of his Bitcoin and paid the house off.
Wow.
So when you hear stuff like that, and everybody, let's just say, I actually met. I met him, so I know it happened. And again, to me, it was the Barnum Bailey. It was Barnum, P.T. Barnum, the bigger fool. You all of a sudden you're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for turtles. So
for a picture of it. Yeah.
Right. So because I was there at Bitcoin 2020 last year in Miami Beach, and I was like, nah, guys, I have a rudimentary understanding of Bitcoin, but this NFT, this smacks of 3-card Molly. They used to play on the bus. I don't know. No.
She pulled out 3-card Molly.
Yeah.
So you're saying that, like, people who have NFTs now, are they even worth anything now? Like, if they could they cash out on selling the NFT?
Because the bottom fell out.
Oh.
If you were in the beginning and caught the wave, more power to you. Right.
There's always a wave. There's always get in, get out real quick.
Right. And knowing when to get in and get out. So as they say, if you go in when everybody's talking about it, you late. So
yeah.
And that was NFTs. Because again, someone could sit down and, I could read Bitcoin in America, and I read the Satoshi white paper, and I understood, I had a understanding of Bitcoin, a basic understanding why I felt comfortable purchasing Bitcoin. Never felt that way about NFTs as they tried to explain to me. Well, you're the only one that has this. Has what? Bitcoin made sense because you could trade Bitcoin. You can trade Bitcoin for goods. Not NFTs. All you could trade that for was money. And then you have this thing. And I was like, nah, okay, fellas. No, I'm not.
So let me ask this, and I know that because you're not licensed, so we're not holding you to this. And if anybody want to try to come sue any of us, hey, this is all for educational and entertainment purposes only. So
there
y'all
we go.
can shut the fuck up. Okay, so let's say we got $1,000 here. Say somebody got $1,000. What would you recommend? Let's say, and let's say your cousin Willie said, Daphne, I got $1,000. What do you think I should do with it? What would you tell him without being licensed? Again, motherfuckers.
Is Willie out of debt?
No, Willie Willie ain't out of debt. Willie just hit a scratch off. Hit his scratcher.
Yeah. She's gonna tell him the first thing to do is get that debt taken care of.
And then spend a few $100s on books and take some courses. No, I'm serious. I'm serious. Self-education is the big thing. Because, or to find a way to generate a skill that produces more money. Get your money. Well, I often say to women, get your money up, sis. You all have a podcast. So that means you spend quite a bit or you spend a certain amount of time on YouTube and things of this nature. Isn't half of the He-Man Woman Haters Club about money?
Oh yeah. All day, yeah.
The red pill, blue, whatever it is. And the same thing with the, we hate men, black men ain't feeling the expletive here. It comes down to money. And so the best thing you can do is get your money up. If how you make money is going to work, then you need to get a skill. You need to improve your skills to make more money. Yeah. Get a skill or take the deal. So, and that's what I would tell anyone. $1,000, is it going to change the game for you? No, not unless you can consecutively put away $1,000 a month or consecutively. So I'm going to say, improve your skills. Go to your local junior college. There's free skills online. Use it for a babysitter so you can go into your office an hour a night and study go into Skills for All, or go to Trailhead for Salesforce, or you know, Google has multiple certifications. QuickBooks is trying to train people up because they need more bookkeepers and people to operate the QuickBooks system. Become a certified tax preparer. The IRS has courses. Those are the things we need to do. You need to generate more funds, because one, you got to get the consumer debt down, because the inflation, the dollars are worth less. So you got to get that consumer debt off of you. And then you get your level of income up to where you're above your fixed rate. You're taking care of your rent, you're feeding. If you're involved with some type of child support or anything of that nature, that's taken care of. And then you've got monies over that to start putting it to work. And then you can start with the information, because you're also spending time reading 5 to 10 pages a day. You can buy into a REIT. You can go into other dividend stocks that you know about, things you use every day, like Exxon or GE. And eventually, maybe get you some cash flow in real estate, things of that nature.
And a good thing, a lot of people don't even know this, and I just actually recently found this out within the last 6 months. A lot of people that are on YouTube, if you go to MIT free course, MIT has a free financial course that they put out on YouTube that you can watch for free. So,
right.
Yeah.
But it's more fun to, be in a 4-hour hangout talking about women trying to take all your money.
Facts.
Or black men ain't shit. Pick whichever one you want to go to.
Facts.
So yeah, so it's
this is true. And
right, and you're angry. You hear folks. Okay, is it average or median? Median income for a black man is $41,000. Median income, median income for a woman for a black woman is 32. It's either 31 and change or 32. Okay, if that's what you're making, even here in Houston, which is not brutal as compared to some parts of the country, you're having trouble maintaining a 2-bedroom apartment. Because I think when I was doing some research, you need to be at $40K to have a 2-bedroom here in Houston. Your average 2-bedroom apartment, you need to be at 40, where it fits in at the where you're not spending more than 33% of your income.
Yeah,
right. You shouldn't spend more than 33% of your income on housing, and
that might be in the cuts. That ain't gonna be like in the best area.
Right. You're gonna get in the house quickly when you park in the lot. So
yeah,
right. So a lot of the pressure and the thing about the gender wars and just malcontentness is just the money situation. Well, that's too expensive. Well, that's not. Get your income up.
And it's all distraction in my eyes.
Right.
It's all a distraction.
Right.
You're not focused on what you should be focused on.
Right. Because the thing is to come home or to set out, and I know it's difficult because I've had to do it. To come home and spend sometimes 2, maybe more hours a night going over whatever skill you're trying to pick up, or going to a junior college to learn welding on a Saturday morning where everybody else is, kick back.
Everybody brunching. They brunching with mimosas and stuff. You're like, where you going, dog? I gotta go.
This Houston, they're not playing with the brunch here.
Oh no, brunch is big business. Brunch is big on weekends, Frank. I'm trying to tell you that here. If the sun's out, man,
Houston does not play. That's the millennials. They serious about brunching.
They love.
They like to eat.
Yeah, they love to eat and drink. Eat and drink. I need to open me a bar. But let me ask you this, Daphne, as we wrap it up. So if I'm a newbie, and I am interested in Bitcoin, I know you said read, but where should I start? Just to understand and even think about getting into it. Where should I start?
It's a great book called Bitcoin in Black America.
Okay.
And it's written by a bro. I can't think of his name right now. I wish I could. And he talks about the freedom that it gives Black people, the interest in Bitcoin, and he breaks it down. The other thing is to read the white paper, Bitcoin white paper. Okay. It's about 20 pages. It's real basic, and it's written by Satoshi, the guy person who invented Bitcoin, and it explains the basis of Bitcoin. And then you can start, because you can use my link in there. I have a Get Bitcoin. It's a place called Swan Bank. They were one of the first, and they're one of the biggest traders of Bitcoin. And all they sell is Bitcoin. They don't mess with Dogecoin and all these other things out there. They don't trade. They don't stake. None of that other stuff. They just do Bitcoin. So, and just start small, because you can start with as little as $5 a week. So it doesn't have to be a big part of your portfolio. And as you feel more comfortable, you start doing some other things with it. But isn't that how you did other things financially?
Yeah.
Eventually you bought a house, and you might be looking, hey, I want to get into rental property. I want to do this. You start reading about it. So.
Yeah, researching it. You're right.
Right. And that's the other thing I tell people too: buy a house. Own where you live. So if your thing is townhouses, or you want to live in a condo, that's the other big thing. Life insurance and owning where you live.
Life insurance and real estate, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. There you go. So we know you have a podcast. Is it on YouTube and audio, or is it just one?
Well, the one I'm primarily working on is my YouTube now. Smart Money Chick TV.
Okay.
Grown Women, Growing Wealth. The 75 episodes are still up. So they'll always be there. So we were talking to, at that time, we were talking to other Gen X women entrepreneurs that had come out, and they had gone into business as their second iteration. So.
Okay. Well, I will get your links from you, and I will definitely post those in the show notes so that our listeners and viewers can get that and check you out. And I want to thank you for coming out. And Frank,
thanks for having me. Thank you for having me. It's great talking to you, gentlemen.
Yeah, thanks for coming out, and everybody go check her out at the Smart Money Chick.
Yeah, Smart Money Chick TV.
That's some real good stuff. Teaches not just men, not just women, but everybody how to save money and how to make money by saving and investing. So keep it simple, keep it basic, get insured. Absolutely.
Yeah, because if it's too much work, you'll stop doing it. If it's too complicated, and I don't want that.
Yeah, facts.
That's true. Well, again, thank you for coming on the show. We always love to get information out there to the people and love to have good conversations. So with that, we thank you, Daphne. Just hang out for a minute. Big Frank.
Little J,
y'all. You know what it is. Can't move on, y'all. We out.
Bye-bye.
New York, D-Town, LA, NO, Florida, Mississippi, KC, MO. Show 'em what you stand for. Show 'em what you stand for. Show 'em what you stand for. Chi-Town, Tennessee, Carolinas, Alabama, Oakland, St. Louis, Detroit, Atlanta. Show 'em what you stand for.